Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all of our friends out there on the internet. I hope you're having a good day. It's Monday. It's a nice day where I am. Nice and sunny, but cold, below zero, below freezing. Yeah, it's been kind of an interesting couple of days here. Lots of rhetoric and stuff like that going on the internet. People fighting and, things like that going on. We've been kind of watching what's been going on here for a little while. Big ups. Thanks a lot for checking in. Give us a sub if you've just found us, or give us a thumbs up. If, you're just watching, hey, thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. Big ups to ya. Peachy King, hey, good to see ya. Peachy King, first in there on the stream to say hello. I know there were other people in here before you, but they didn't say hello. Bullets and barbecue, hey, big ups to ya. Lots of abusers on the YouTube streets, yeah, exactly. Okay, let me close that off. It's on the back end here. Trying to figure out some stuff. I think I have it figured out here. Let me go back over to the front end. Switch over to my channel. Check out the feed. And give us a thumbs up. There we go. I got to give myself a thumbs up at least, you know. We got Leanne Hurley in there. Hey, Leanne, good to see you. Peachy King in there in the chat. Good to see you. Anyone else in the chat there, say hello in the chat. We'll give you a shout out. Sean Little, a 2000 film written and directed by Flory Lawrence. The Sky is Falling. Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Everyone is shouting the sky is falling today. Got a few people arguing there. I saw Brett did a couple of pieces there. I saw Summer did live there already today. Who else was live there? Escobar was live. A bunch of people were doing stuff there today. Let's see what it looks like here today as far as what's going to happen. I'm just going to be on here this afternoon for a while. We'll see what's going on. And we'll move on from there. See what's happening. Oh, what's happening with Red Squirrel? I see he was Red Admiral. Okay, no, okay. Hey, I'm the general. I'm the pirate general over here. Tommy Temper is the general. So Admiral Pilot or Admiral Pirate, you're actually below me. Okay. Linda Lou. Ooh. 12th man. Hey, good to see you, 12th man. Big ups there, 12th man. I'm doing really well here today. If I was doing any better, I would have to, let me think about that. Yeah. Anyways, I'm feeling top drawer, put it that way. Top drawer. We're doing good. I'm feeling pretty good. And this is what this show is going to be here today. I just fired up here. I was actually going to fire up maybe last night or the night before or whatever. I don't know. There've been so many times where I've just been watching everyone else do their thing. So I haven't really fired up my live here, because I like watching what other people are doing there too. So anyways, I was watching Summer there, where I see Summer has got this thing going on with Brett, so you guys have a little tiff going on there. Of course, Brett has a tiff going on there with a lot of different people. Let's see what else is going on there. Oh yeah, Red Squirrel has got his accusation there that he's done some wrongdoing. And he's keeping completely silent on that, which is pretty telling. If you just, if you did it, you don't want to open up your mouth and incriminate yourself any further if you did it. If you didn't do it, then you'd come out and you'd say, I didn't do it. But Red Ski is not saying I didn't do it. So he probably did it. What a hot mess. Yeah, Linda Lou. It's all a hot mess. Hot mess out there. And, I've got nothing to do with the hot mess Brett thing, whatever. Brett is Brett. Brett comes on the channel here. I let anyone come on the channel. It doesn't matter who you are. And, is quite volatile, provocative, whatever. And, that's it. If you guys have tiffs with each other, though, like, don't bring me into it. I'm not, like, part of any battle that you guys are having. But, I'm just a guy out here with a channel. I'm just a guy standing out here in a street corner with a cell phone. That's all. Nothing special. Nothing special. Give me a break. But anyways, I just decided to do a little stream here this afternoon. I'm not going to be on for long, but for a little while here anyways. We'll talk about what's going on out here on the internet streets. The sky is falling. Oh no, Chicken Little. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Yeah, well, actually, the sky is falling for a lot of people. Red in particular. The sky's falling, Red. You'll notice I took down my posts. I had a bunch of posts there about Red, and I took them all down. And it was sort of about the ship is sinking type posts, that kind of thing. I took them all down because I think the ship is pretty much, sunk at this moment. Languishing. I ain't going over there anymore. I never did go over there, and I don't talk over there, so whatever. Let those guys do what they're doing. I got that. Oh, there's squirrely outside my window, drinking some water. It's the only water in the whole neighborhood here. Where is that little squirrel? Oh, he's gone. See what it looks like outside my window here. It's kind of weird out there. That's what it looks like outside of my window. A little bit bright out there, a little oversaturated. You can see I've got my bowl here full of water doing its thing. Waiting for the birds and the squirrels and the stuff like that to come and take a drink. Hank you in there. Hey, how you doing there? Angie. Big ups. Hey, you're going to go down, boy, says 12th Man. Hey, 12th Man, good to see you. I've seen you on a couple of the panels and stuff like that all over the place. You're really circulating there. Sounded good. Hopefully you're having a good day there today, 12th Man, up in Alaska. Big ups to you. Yeah, I don't get why some people are over concerned with what other people are doing and watching. Yeah, exactly. Well, we all like to watch what everyone else is doing. This is kind of like a community, all these different channels here. And we're all watching what everyone else is doing and commenting on it. And yeah, some of you people are pretty rude over there. You go on those other channels and then you bash me. And then you come over here and then you think that I don't see what you're doing over there. Like I'm kind of laughing and going, yeah, okay, you guys dox me and whatever, make fun of me and whatever, make fun of everyone in the so-called community. Hey, CJ, good to see you from Calgary. Big ups to you. But, at the end of the day, yeah, it's all fun and games over here. As far as I'm concerned, you might wonder, well, what am I doing here? Why am I even doing this? I'm out here for fun. I'm having fun. I'm just firing up a stream and doing my thing and not worrying too much about what people think about me. People don't like what I'm doing. They don't like me. A lot of people don't like me. Like, I've seen that. But it's more of a thing where they don't like me, but they don't like my totalness, right? It's almost like people don't like Trump because he's successful. Okay, and it's the same degree with me. People don't like me and they have a hate on me because I'm successful. And, I'm not super successful in doing the streaming stuff here because it's a learning process. And, it takes time to build up a channel and figure out how to do this. And I kind of have this figured out. we're on a kind of a winning streak here now. Hey, Noodles, good to see you. Who's bothering Tommy? Yeah, well, there's lots of trolls. Trolls are the people that are bothering me. Well, they're trying to bother me, put it that way. And really, all it is just rhetoric, people saying stuff on the internet. So if people say things about you on the internet, ooh, do you go like, oh, I'm going away because somebody said something bad about me? Hey, Summer, good to see you. Yeah, it's like, you know, we're all tough-skinned. People are going to say bullshit about us, and we're going to just take it and shrug it off and move on. You know, maybe call them out or something. And that's what you guys are doing. Like today, you had Brett calling out people, and then you had Summer calling out and whatever. And Sable was involved because of something that she was doing over there. Oh my gosh. It's the same old, you know, crap going on here on the internet. People calling each other names and bad-mouthing each other and whatever. It's what it is. And that's part of it. But don't get butthurt on any of this stuff, you know. And I know you guys are not getting butthurt over it, but you're kind of just using it for content, you know, or defending yourself over what other people have said, right? No, you absolutely have to defend yourself. Somebody calls you out or says something about you, then get on there and call them out. Yeah, that's the thing to do. Otherwise, you'll be perceived as a weak person if you just take it and lay down, right? So good for you. Yeah, exactly. Betty White. Hey, Betty White. Good to see you. Big ups to Betty White. Yeah, what's happening with Jeff? Thinking of you, because the last I saw he was over in Jeff's channel. And whatever happened to Jeff? I'm talking about Overland Expedition Jeff. What happened to him? He's like gone. I haven't seen him on the internet. He's not doing his lives there. Did somebody say something to him that he got butthurt and he just switched off, or what the heck happened there? It was almost like he took that crap or something on air, and then you guys were making fun of him, and then after that he kind of was butthurt and he's gone. Where's Jeff? Jeff, come on back. Don't let people chase you off the internet. Always call out people. Yeah, always call out anyone who has no integrity and likes bullies. Well, you guys have to stop bullying, you know. I don't know, follow Jeff anymore, says Betty White. Oh, just hang on, I got a quick thing to answer here. Yeah. Okay, this is how it works. Oh, I was just talking to the wifey there. She was doing something or other there on the side, asking me a couple of questions. So it's always more important to address things that your wife has to say than the internet, right? Priorities. Doesn't say you're live on my homepage. Wow. See, Dinger. I don't know, maybe there's could be something broken with YouTube, because a lot of people on the streams have been complaining about not getting notifications. So, yeah, I don't know if you unsubscribe and then subscribe again, that might reset up your notifications again. So try doing that if you did not get a notification. I find that that's what I do when that happens to me. So try that. See if it works. Katrina in there. C. Dinger in there. Got Ruben Sanchez in there. And Q. Frantic. Nancy's in there. Shelly G. Good to see you. Betty White, of course. Who did I miss there? Dory is in there. Seagull Rock Squawk. Doing your thing. Sable. Paradise Pete in there. Hey, coming in. Walk the plank off of the Red show there. The pirate plank. Paradise Pete. Good to see you in there. 10-4, good buddy. Or should I say, what's your QTH? Might be a better one for you. Okay, Corvette Girl in there. Kurt Manley is in there. Big ups. Noodles in there. Bullets and Barbecue. CJ is in there. Linda Lou. Frank is in there. Granny's fell asleep. Trying to bail the water out of the ship. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? I would actually, if right now, at this moment in time, if that's actually true with Red, I would absolutely break ties and go, okay, I'm not part of this thing anymore, that's for sure. But, those guys are still in bed with Red, so they obviously support what he does and what he did and what he says, right? You're a supporter of all that crap. If you have the word pirate on your name, some kind of queen in your name, pirate queen, or any of that crap, or Red, or Mama, or any of that stuff in your name, you're tainted. You're part of Red. You're part of what Red did. You're a Red supporter. Hate to tell you. And that's what I think. So all I can say is shame on you if you're over there supporting Red and you got Red's name and pirate and all the rest of that crap on your channel and your name and your screen name. You're supporting Red, which, if he did that, you know what? I believe that he did that. And you know why I believe it? Because Red talked to more than one person and told them that he did it. So we're hearing from Red's mouth, 2 people that he actually did something. He told 2 people. 2 people said, yeah, Red told me that he did it. So, yeah, I'm gonna use that as being, well, yeah, if 2 people, heard it directly from Red that he did something, then he probably did it, right? So, yeah, if you guys like that, hey, yeah, good. You guys hang around with him there, okay? Go right ahead. But I don't want to be part of it. Right, and I haven't been part of the Red thing for a long time, right? When he started calling people out and saying he's going to dig up dead bodies and do necrophilia things with them, I thought at that point, hey, well, I'm not going to be supporting this guy. I'm not going to be hanging out over there in his chat, going on his panels or doing any of that kind of stuff at all. I'm going to break ties, which you guys know that I did do that a long time ago, right? I've been calling out Red for a long time. You guys haven't been listening. Now you guys understand. Yeah, I'm all out of something to drink, so I'll be right back. Oh, what do we got? Oh, can't hardly see the birdie outside here. Hang on. Okay, I'll be right back here in half a second. I made a mistake and I didn't get myself anything to drink before I started the show. Now I'm starting to get thirsty, so I'll be right back. Okay. We's back. We's back in style. Okay, yeah, there's something weird going on. There's some kind of boosting stuff going on out there. They're boosting numbers, boosting views, boosting all kind of crap going on out there. And I don't like it. So, it's like the numbers of people viewing are being kind of artificially boosted. I don't know what the hell's going on or who's doing that, but has been happening. I've been noticing it. So at this moment here, this seems a little more normal here with the number of people viewing. Because we have had some numbers up there like quite high, like about 200, but I think some of those numbers are artificial. I'm not really buying any of that crap. There are people out here that are pulling stuff, that are buying views and stuff like that, and trying to get channels in trouble by doing that. So, I know that there's some of that stuff going on there. Give us a thumbs up. Thanks a lot for that thumbs up. Do appreciate it. Got 19 thumbs ups, 72 watching. The sky is falling. Yeah, the sky is falling. Chicken Little. Been getting doxxed a little bit out there. Still, doesn't matter where I go. There are people out there that just, love to dox me. So just remember that if you love doxing me, then if I see you, you're probably going to get blocked in this channel. So I'm just going to take that. So for example, I'm not going to block everyone from some troll channel. If you're a troll, you're probably welcome here. But if you're a troll that likes doxing me, then you'll get blocked here. Okay? So any doxers will get blocked. Keep that in mind. Okay? Keep that in mind. Don't dox me. Because I don't dox you, so why should you dox me? It's not nice, and this is the internet where people are crazy out there. Once they get your personal information, then they start really doing harmful things to you. So, publicly putting somebody's personal information on the internet is actually a really, really disgusting thing to do. And you guys over there in the troll channel are absolutely disgusting for doing that. And you know who I'm talking to, because you're sitting there listening to me right now. Shame on you. Shame on you. And what you should do is instead of sitting there and calling people names and doing stuff like that, go out there and get a job, okay? Get a real job and make something of yourself instead of calling out other people for being successful with what they're doing, okay? Don't just look at successful people and go, oh, you're successful, but on the other hand, Marxism is a good thing. Yeah. You ever notice that? Everyone that is pissed off at successful people is a Marxist. You know, they're like, nah, I think I'll sit at home and go on welfare, get some welfare money. Marxism is good.
$300 in cash, most of which was already spent on extremely dangerous drugs.
That's right.
The trunk of the car looked like
that's what you're doing. You're spending all your money on bad stuff.
We had 2 bags of grass,
and you're living off your mom in the basement.
5 sheets of high-powered blotter acid, a salt shaker,
all that bad stuff you're into,
and a whole galaxy of multicolored uppers, downers, screamers, laughers.
That's what you guys are all about.
Tequila, a quart of rum, a case of Budweiser, a pint of raw ether,
and Budweiser too. You got that right. Okay, that's the troll channel there he's talking about. Okay, what else is new out there? Let's talk about something else. What else can we talk about? Hey, Watcher of Crazy. Good to see ya. Hey, big ups to you there. Watcher of Crazy. I know I saw you over on another channel there. You're over there on the panels and stuff like that. Good to see ya. Big ups to you. Ziggy Piggy. Yeah, bullshit meter is pegged into the red. Yeah, you got that right. We're full of bullshit here today. The internet is full of BS. And we're spouting it off here today, talking about it. Hey, who else is in there? We got 12 Man in there. If I ever see you, Tommy, it'll be about a bed and breakfast. Yeah, right. I can't give you a bed and breakfast, but there's hotels around here. Glenda, actually, there's a close to where I live. There's a. Oh, just hang on a second here. I got to be interrupted here now. Hey, but no, don't stand. Oh, yeah. Okay. I think we're good to go here. What we're doing here is we're trying to update a phone, backup information on a phone here, and we're trying to do some stuff here between one phone and another. So that's what's going on in the background here. Be going on all morning here. So yeah, I was muted there while wifey came in the scene here to get some info from me here. Yeah, the Alex Jones thing is interesting. Jeff and his dogs chop wood. Let's talk about the Alex Jones Elon Musk interview. I didn't really see the interview. My take on it is that, I think that Musk is like sort of pro the whole thing. And I think he put out a poll as to whether or not Alex Jones should be allowed to be back on X again, on Twitter. And the poll actually came out positive for way more people voted for Alex Jones, that he should be reinstated back on X. So I think that that's what's going to happen. Because, Elon said, hey, here's the poll. This is what the results of the poll is. So it speaks volumes. And, as far as the interview goes, let's see, it wasn't really, was it an Elon Musk interview? It was, what's his name there? Blah, blah, blah. Actually, let me go and see what's going on with that. I know I looked at that the last time I was live. We talked about that whole thing. Let me see here. Let me do a quick search. Do a search for Alex. So if we look at Alex Jones here, it was, let me see, InfoWars was his channel that was banned. And let's see here. Alex Jones discusses the dangers of depopulation and how important it is to save children. That's what he was talking about, depopulation, and how all of these world orders and things like that are really, really into world depopulation, and they're trying to come up with ways to depopulate the world. Now, you had this was the one of the interviews here, well, or the things, I guess. Can bring it up in here. Hang on. Okay, and this was it here. Hang on, let me turn this back, turn this up, pop this in, go in here, get me out of here, and go.
So dangerous. So fancy outhouse.
We have a ruling class in the United States defined by its hatreds, not its loves, not its hopes, but by its hatreds. They hate all kinds of people, large groups of people, the deplorables, the bitter clingers, America's entire...
Okay, you know who he's talking about? He's talking about Troll Central, okay? He says, we have a group of people in this country that are a bunch of haters, okay? He's talking about Troll Central and Troll Central type of people, lefties, right? The people that just hate everything out there.
Blue-collar population, the unfashionable people. They're hated by the people who run our country. But no one is hated more by them than a man called Alex Jones. Alex Jones is the single most censored man in all American history. He was the first media figure in our history to be completely erased in one day, deplatformed. Alex Jones was deplatformed.
That's right. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about deplatform, and I call it cancel culture. And you guys make fun of it there that, oh yeah, Tommy Temper's always talking about cancel culture. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, I do know what I'm talking about because I have already been deplatformed. I have already been cancel cultured, right? Look at all the stuff that's written about me that you guys know about on the internet. All of that stuff is out there to try and cancel me, right? The lefties are trying to cancel me. It's been going on for 20 years already, right? Well, maybe not 20 years, but as long as Antifa has been in existence, whatever, 10 years. Right? Where as soon as they found out about me, then they started publishing articles that were negative and false and whatever, a bunch of crap about me, right? Because they're mad. They're just mad people out there.
Formed before it was a common term. And not just deplatformed, sued, attacked. They attempted to criminally charge him.
And I'm still being attacked even today. Even today, you guys attack me, right? You guys are over in the troll channels attacking me on a daily basis. Even when I haven't even been live in 3 days, and I'm being attacked every single day.
Alex Jones do wrong? Alex Jones didn't rape anybody. He didn't loot Macy's. He didn't burn a police station. He didn't invent a fake cryptocurrency and loot pension funds. He didn't start a pointless war that made this country poorer and more disorganized. He didn't open the southern border. No, Alex Jones had opinions that deeply rattled.
Yeah. Well, Alex Jones got canceled. I don't know. There was something about Sandy Hook. Yeah. And I'm not trying to defend Alex Jones at all. Like maybe did say some stuff that was wrong. I don't know. He got sued, and usually people win on a lawsuit when somebody's wrong and somebody's right. Alex Jones, but Ruben Sanchez says Alex Jones got canceled because he got some kids' names wrong from the Sandy Hook kids. I don't know if that's what happened. I don't really recall exactly, and I didn't really follow why he got sued and or what the deal was with Sandy Hook, but there was something about that though. But also, he was big on calling out the globalists for depopulation and stuff like that, which the globalists and the Dems and all of that stuff there, they just all hate him. He's a right winger, and yeah, I would actually say that maybe some of his stuff, kind of goes over into the extremist side. But is he like some kind of a KKK or something like that? No, I don't think so.
The people who run America. In fact, rattles a lot of us. And I'll just confess that I first heard of Alex Jones when he questioned.
Yeah, there's a question. Is KKK far left or far right? There's a question.
And the official story behind 9/11. And I, speaking for myself, was deeply offended by this. I didn't take any time to find out what he was saying, but I was bothered by the idea that this defining event in American history, which changed the life of everyone who lived here then, might not actually have unfolded as we were told it did. And that...
Well, yeah, okay. What we saw, what we heard is also open to interpretation, right? And one person's interpretation might be different than another person's interpretation. And a lot of things happened, right, with 9/11. You had 2 towers went down, and you had the Pentagon. You had an awful lot of stuff that happened. And you had buildings that went down, and then buildings that went down later. And people are saying there's, demolition, explosives, and all kind of stuff going on. Like a lot of hearsay, a lot of what you might call conspiracy type stuff.
Possibility was too destabilizing. And I remember feeling resentment toward Alex Jones for saying that. But several years later, I wound up in Austin, Texas, and through a chain of circumstances, wound up meeting Alex Jones. And I learned what everyone who has met him now knows, which is Alex Jones is not a crazy person. Alex Jones has said pretty far out things on TV from time to time. Not that far out. He hasn't said.
Yeah. Okay. Like Alex Jones telling some things that are pretty far out. Well, likewise, Betty White, with your comment there on Queenie. Yeah, absolutely. Some things that are a little bit far out. I don't agree with everything that Queenie says. Some things I do agree with. I agree with the fact that she was, treated poorly, put it that way, by the government, and I feel bad about that happening. But yeah, I let people say what they want to say, Betty. Like if you came on my panel, I'd let you say what you wanted to say. Unless you really started saying something really obnoxious, like the N-word or something like that. But yeah, everyone has their own views on everything. And of course, everyone can call other people out if they don't, believe or agree with what they have to say.
Men can become women, or Ukraine is a democracy, but within the bounds of, say, cable news, pretty far out. But fundamentally, Alex Jones is right about a lot of things. And in fact, that's why they don't like him. Alex Jones has an uncanny, really an amazing ability to predict events before they happen. He has...
That I don't know. Well, but of course, the documentation will prove whether or not that's right or wrong, but maybe he is generalizing and saying, yeah, he thinks this might happen if that happens. My own view on Alex was that I didn't really follow him, like a lapdog. I wasn't, a leg rider of his. I watched a little bit about what he said, but I knew that he was kind of a little bit of an extremist, on his views. But that being said, whatever, he's welcome to his own views, as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, I didn't really follow him and watch every single thing that he was saying, but once in a while there would be a clip or something from him that I would see.
Called it, and he's done it on tape again and again, to the point where it's a meme on the internet. Alex Jones, prophet, not conspiracy nut, prophet. But when you dig into Alex Jones's predictions, they are so spot on that it's remarkable. How does he do this? We're guessing there's a kind of spiritual sensitivity to Alex Jones. Maybe that's his secret. He was displaying this years before the average person in this country even thought about matters like that. Now it's pretty obvious to most people that the current war going on in this country is taking place in ways you can't see it most of the time. But 10 years ago, people were not thinking that way. Alex Jones was.
Yeah, he lost the court case. I know that much. I remember hearing about that. Paul Champ is saying it has already been proved that he has to pay millions. Yeah, that happened.
And so we thought it'd be interesting to sit down and talk to Alex Jones, the man. He joins us now in our studio. Alex Jones, thank you.
Wow, Tucker, it's great to be here. Amazing studios, amazing people. And this is really going to be, I think, a historic interview. So thanks for having me.
Well, I'm really grateful to be able to do it. And it's one of the great blessings of my life and of my job is that I've been able to meet people that I've had preconceptions about and sometimes find those preconceptions bolstered and in other cases demolished. And you're definitely in this.
That's the man himself. There's Alex Jones. And, I was kind of wondering, why did this interview happen? Because Alex Jones was deplatformed, cancel cultured, whatever, was kind of languishing, didn't have anywhere where he could say anything. Then you had this business of this interview coming up. Then you had the Elon Musk thing with X, with him, with the poll asking if he should come back onto X again. So, yeah, I'm not sure why everything is happening here right now. But definitely he was cancel cultured. So it's almost like, okay, let's see if we can bring back somebody that's being cancel cultured.
Second category. So I want, for people who've made it this far, the people around the country have really succeeded in making you disreputable. And the whole point, of course, is people won't listen to you. So we thought it'd be interesting to start with a series of on-tape predictions that you made, some of which are so precise and so prescient that it makes the hair on my arms stand up.
This is interesting because I never really, I put it this way, I didn't watch this interview before. I didn't realize that he had made a whole bunch of predictions, so this might be interesting.
And I'm being sincere, and our viewers are about to see what I'm talking about. Here is a list of things that you called ahead of time.
By the middle of September, that the new policy is being written, you will all have to wear masks again, and so will airport employees.
It's happening. Mask mandates are officially back.
We know the Joint Chiefs of Staff wanted to blow up airliners, Baltimore Sun, or if you let some terrorist group do it, like the World Trade Center, we know who to blame. And if there was an outside threat like a bin Laden, who was a known CIA asset in the 80s.
This group and its leader, a person named Osama bin Laden.
He's the boogeyman they need.
We're looking at a giant war in February right now. I predict the Russians are going to roll in. They're already there. They're going to roll in.
With attacks across Ukraine, which is the size of Texas.
It really was the Iraqis. That's just because they're getting ready to invade Iraq. And what a beautiful setup.
Those 9/11 clips are crazy. I'm actually bothered by the precision of them. I'm not accusing you of being behind 9/11. But
wow. That was the predictions. So, yeah, 9/11, the war, the Russian war. But then again, it's not that difficult to make those kind of predictions, like especially when there's turmoil happening.
But how could you, in July of 2001, call that? You said they're going to have airliners fly into the World Trade Center and they're going to blame a guy called Osama bin Laden. No, leaving aside what actually happened, how could you have known that?
Well, in the longer clips, because it's a multi-hour show from July 25th, 2001, I specifically walked through all the reasons, and I knew that they were hyping up that we were about to be hit by Osama bin Laden. I knew that the World Trade Center had been attacked the first time and that the feds had been involved.
That's right. It wasn't the first time the Trade Center was attacked.
Forward.
That's true.
And I just saw a lot of the pre-programming that was happening in the media, because they were on the news saying, life's about to change in America. And I was reading what the RAND Corporation was saying and what the Pentagon was putting out. And I read the PNAC document from a year before, Rebuilding America's Defenses, that Dick Cheney had helped write. And it said we need a Pearl Harbor event on the American homeland to be able to bring in this police state and this control and then expand the American empire worldwide. So hundreds of pieces of data went into that prediction.
But
like you could make a prediction here right now, like who's going to win the war between Russia and he's okay. They're in turmoil, so yeah, a war started. But who's going to win the war? Make that prediction. Or between the Israeli-Palestine thing that's going on, who's going to win that? Make that prediction. That might be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, he was. Like everybody else, watching the news, and, you've got an awful lot of data, information flowing by, so that with that data, you can make some pretty good predictions. So, yeah, he did that.
But terrorists are going to hit the World Trade Center in July of 2001. I lived in the United States then. That was the last thing on my mind. And I lived in Washington. I know the guys who wrote the PNAC document because I shared an office with them. So I was more informed than the average person. And that was the last thing that crossed my mind in the summer of 2001. Like everyone else, I thought it was a Cessna. But how convinced were you that this was going to happen?
I was completely convinced. In fact, in the full clip that's online, you can find it on Twitter and other places, it has been removed. I explained to people that they need to call the White House and tell the White House, we know if you allow these attacks that you're basically allowing it to happen. And it was similar to all the data we had when
Well, you said that on your show?
On my show. And I gave the number out so people could actually call the White House. And then going back to October of last year, when the Russians went into Ukraine, I specifically said I think they'll go in by the end of February. And there was a lot of data that went into that. And then they specifically did go in on February 24th. And so I was able to make that prediction as well. But there was a lot of data and information that went into it.
Sure. I'm just, for the record.
Yeah. In other words, he's not really just some kind of a soothsayer. He's got a crystal ball or something like that. But he's just watching all the media information, just like you or I, and we can make predictions just like he can. But yeah, if you see a whole bunch of stuff is building up, then you can easily make a prediction that, something is probably going to happen. And he did.
I miscalled that completely. I didn't think they were going to do it. You were right. I was wrong, not for the first time. But the 9/11 thing, I remember that really well. Nobody was thinking like that. So you called it in public on tape. Did the 9/11 Commission... So if I'm the FBI and I'm investigating 9/11, you're like the first guy I would call because you're the only person who said that out loud. Did they call you?
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, Ruben says he does have insider info. Yeah. And you can imagine that, and I'm kind of feeling that myself. It's like when you're sitting here, people send you stuff, like send you something on somebody's doing something, or in his case, things that are happening around the world that people are emailing him all kind of information and stuff like that. So, yeah, inside info, probably did have something.
No, they didn't. But my most accurate prediction, going back over a decade, was when I read the Rockefeller Foundation Operation Lockstep, and they described using a virus to bring in world government, to bring in a world medical ID, that they would then build the social credit score off of, and that they would make people wear masks for fear, that they would shut down sporting events and things like that, and basically phase in this new tyranny. So I was also able to specifically...
Is that not interesting to hear that? That people actually talked about what actually happened, right? With the virus and everything else. What he just said. Did you hear what he just said? That that maybe this stuff was talked about and planned before it happened. Now, was it actually the plan in effect that we actually witnessed here? I don't know.
Make that prediction over and over and over again because I was going off their own battle plans.
Are you the only person in media who actually reads these reports?
I don't think a lot of people do read them, but I do read them. I mean, I'm currently reading MIT reports from their top councils, Pentagon reports. They have a working group called the
Face of America, Agenda 21.
That works with MIT. And if you go watch their hour-long, 2-hour-long, 3-hour-long meetings they have on YouTube with all the top, we're talking hundreds of top scientists, they admit that they're building a post-human world, that soon everyone's going to be mind-controlled, that they're going to put smart dust in our food that they can electromagnetically control, and they just lay it all out right there. And I've learned what these people said in the 50s they would do were done by the 70s. What they said their plan was in the 70s for the 90s, they got done. And then when they had their...
Hey, if you're just new to the channel here, please hit that subscribe button. Drop down the chat, and there's a little subscribe button there, a little bell. Hit that bell there and give us a sub up and a thumbs up. Thanks a lot.
In Rio de Janeiro in 1992, the big UN summit, they described everything they would do up until the year 2000, and they got almost all of that done. And now they've got Agenda 2030, and we're going to ban your gas stoves. We're going to ban beef. We're going to ban single-family dwellings. We're going to ban private ownership of cars. We're going to do all this, and now you see them rolling.
That's right. That whole thing is part and parcel of the 15-minute city. Why would you need a car when everything is within 15 minutes of where you live and you can ride a bicycle to it or walk?
It all out. So I'm not really making predictions in these high-level World Economic Forum.
Actually, you don't have to make predictions. You just have to read the information and go, look at this is what these guys are planning. that's it's not much of a prediction.
Forum and other large think tank groups, they are laying out the future, and they're high priests of the World Economic Forum. It's a consortium of all these groups. Yuval Noah Harari, you can read his quotes. The future's not human. The human era is over.
Guess what? You're going to have to sell that gas stove because you're going to have to buy an electric one here next year.
The public is useless. I mean, this is a very anti-human system. So that's how I'm able to make predictions, because...
Pull my finger. Hey, you need one of those Chinese finger traps there, Miss Ad. And yeah, shove both your fingers in there. Yeah, we're being hoodwinked, people. Well, we're all being hoodwinked into downsizing, go electric, stop using gas, don't burn wood, no more wood burning fireplaces, all that kind of stuff. Hey, Miss Frosty, good to see you.
They've given us a roadmap. They tell us where they want to take us. And so when the public wakes up, we push back on some of it, but they always come back. And so I'm just following the trajectory of where they say they want to take us. And there were a lot of white papers, not just the PNAC document from 2000, a year before 9/11, where they describe we really need big terror attacks. We really need Pearl Harbor events to get Americans to give up their rights. I mean, take what just happened in Israel. Totally tragic. My heart goes out to all that been killed or lost loved ones or been injured.
Rube went to the dogs.
What the dog doing?
That's right.
But there's no way that one of the best intelligence agencies in the world didn't know that was coming. The massive buildup, the 5,000 missiles, the paragliding attacks, all of that. And so there was clearly a stand down there. And
Jim says, we knew the World Trade Center was a target since 1993. Yeah, well, they had already done something to the World Trade Center already, right? Remember, I don't know what it was, some sort of attempted something that happened there. So they were trying to do something there. Yeah, it was a target, absolutely.
And now the West will take more of the people's rights. Israel will be able to crack down and take more of their people's rights, which is a big debate over there. Hamas is being funded by Hezbollah, which is Iran.
You notice that, we're always hearing this stuff about the governments of the world wanting to take away rights from the people. Do you notice that? And everyone is so worried about your rights being taken away. I know that, patriot type people are always, spouting that off. But actually it does seem like our rights are being slowly taken away, slowly eroded. We can't speak what we want to speak. We're being squelched. There's all kind of laws coming up to keep you from saying what you want to say. It's like we're being absolutely
just had Biden
squelched.
A month ago give $6 billion to Iran, and now the mullahs are bragging that they were behind the attack, Hezbollah funding Hamas. So really, those aren't even predictions. It's clear that Hezbollah and Hamas have tens of thousands of men and women as sleeper cells that are, quote, other than Mexican, that the Border Patrol list every month, tens of thousands coming across the Texas and Arizona and California sectors.
Right. And there's the point right there. Like you guys that are, all for people border jumping, don't care who's coming across the border, right? And you think, oh yeah, well, it's just, a bunch of Mexicans coming over the border, no big deal. But in fact, what is happening is you have people coming in from the Middle East and from these countries that don't like the United States and are probably coming over the border. And like you said, the term sleeper cells comes in. Well, put two and two together. Why do you think they're coming across the border? They're not bringing families either.
And it's an easy equation to predict that there's a wide probability that Hezbollah and Hamas at some point are going to attack sports stadiums. They're going to attack colleges. They're going to attack synagogues. They're going to, shoot up mass gatherings.
Okay, there's the prediction right there. Is that going to happen when you have these sleeper cells coming over the border? The border's open. They're freely walking right through. Yeah, of course it's going to happen. Is it easy to make that prediction? Very easy, very easy. Anybody could make that prediction, right? I could have made that prediction 10 years ago watching what is happening. When you have a bunch of people coming over and you have some of them, not all of them, but some of them are extremists, then you're in trouble.
If they're given the order by Iran, if we go to war with Iran, and then when this happens, our government won't get in trouble for dissolving the border and letting these people come in. Just like on 9/11, our government clearly had prior knowledge. There was clearly a major stand down that went on.
Yeah, exactly, Shelley. Shelley says, careful, Tommy. I brought that up once and was told I was fear-mongering. Yeah, fear-mongering, saying that everything is being eroded and that we're being taken over, told what to do. The world governments are coming in here, and really nobody is standing up for it. You elect governments of the world that are like in bootstep with the globalists out there. Shame on you if you're a globalist and if you're a politician in North America supporting globalism.
And the government got more power, more control, and now they're not pointing the Homeland Security apparatus at the Russians like they did in the Cold War or the Islamists after 9/11. Now they admit that their main focus is Christian conservatives and the bitter clingers and the people that live in rural America, that quote, white people, I mean, it says that in the report, are the main terror threat. And so this whole apparatus of the war on terror, it has now been turned inwardly against the people, not just here, but also in Europe, where if someone criticizes transgenderism in the UK, they come to their house and arrest them.
Yeah. In fact, that'll happen in Canada here too, because that's called a hate law. And there is a hate law in the books in Canada, and you cannot say things about people like you could before. So you have to be very, very careful with what you say.
Journalist does that. They come to their house and arrest them. If somebody says, I think these surveillance cameras should start getting cut down, they come to their house and they arrest them for their free speech. And so this is a global movement by the mega corporations, by the BlackRocks and the State Streets and the Vanguards that control 80+% of world wealth to control our behavior.
State Streets, Vanguards, Rothschilds, globalists.
Larry Fink of BlackRock has said that at the Davos Group repeatedly. We're going to use our control over all this finance and this global social credit score we're rolling out to control people's behavior. So that's really what this is. And then they use...
That's amazing. What? 2 years. Wow. Yeah, I know. That's what went wrong with the last thing, is that they forced people to do stuff, right? And that was wrong. Absolutely, that was wrong to force. It was like, well, you know what? You can't go to a restaurant unless you get a jab. Like that, took it absolutely too far when they said you can't go places, you can't do things unless you do that. That was like real overreach as far as I'm concerned from all of the governments of the world.
The threat of global warming, they use the threat of a virus, they use the threat of radical Islam to take our rights, but we really are the target.
Even if by the way, none of that seems implausible at this point.
You know what? You might think that he's, you know what? And I probably years back thought, well, this guy's a radical. This Alex Jones is a radical. He's like really, really out to lunch and doesn't know what he's talking about and is like, an extremist. But actually, if you listen closely at this moment in time to what he's saying, he's right. I hate to say it, but he's right. And maybe we should have been listening to him all along instead of poo-pooing him and going, you know what, you're a radical and you're an extremist. He's not. He's probably more mainstream than you think.
I mean, just you're a measure of how the world has changed. If you'd said this to me 15 years ago, I'd have been like, someone's a crackpot and it's not me.
Yeah, and that's right. Exactly what he's saying. And I thought that maybe he was a bit of a crackpot, even though he was a right winger, and I'm a right winger. I thought that he was more of an extremist type of a guy. But you know what? Yeah, maybe not.
Now, after COVID, nothing you said seems crazy at all. I mean, you may be right, you may be wrong, but it's not out of the realm of possibility, obviously. But even if I disagree with what you just said, I would think that's pretty interesting. It's an interesting perspective. Why do you think you've committed no...
It's not just interesting. You might disagree with him, but I would tend to mostly agree with what he just said.
Crime, you'd be in jail if you had. Why do you think they hate you so much?
Because I do read their documents and I do read their books, and we were effectively getting a lot of people in the military and the intelligence agencies who were compartmentalized and who tuned into my show and saw my films and read my books and things. And they clicked with it and said, wow, I see all this going on around me. He's not lying about it. And then I would give them other pieces that I discovered or my other guests discovered. And so it was giving them an operational awareness outside of their compartmentalization. And so we had massive success in the military, in the police, and in the intelligence agencies, not just here, but around the world.
In other words, he was actually chastised, whatever, and cancel cultured because he had a voice, right? He had a platform, and he was able to talk about the things that he's saying here. And of course, these different government organizations were being, well, maybe indoctrinated by Alex, by what he was saying. And the government didn't like that. Oh man, they wanted him shut down right now. Like, whoa.
And so our penetration into those areas to help people expand their awareness that we're inside the government, inside corporations, was triggering a lot of whistleblowers, was triggering a lot of people not going along with the program. And so really my sin was decompartmentalization of the population.
When you got deplatformed, and to this day, no one has ever been more aggressively censored, I don't think, than you.
Hang on. I was censored just as aggressively as Alex, okay? Because I was actually deplatformed on Facebook. Completely deplatformed. I had a complete thing set up there. I had like lots and lots and lots of videos, lots of pictures, lots of posts, lots of things on there. I was 100% deplatformed completely right off of Facebook. I'm gone. I'm not there anymore. As me, okay? I'm on there as Tommy Temper, right? Because I started up another account as Tommy Temper. But my original personal account was completely deplatformed, so I understand exactly what happened. And why was I deplatformed? Yeah, because I was basically saying the same kind of crap that Alex Jones was saying during COVID and Convoy and all the rest of that crap, right? So yeah, Facebook didn't like that.
I've apologized to you this in person before. I was in Labrador on a fishing trip and missed the entire thing. I was literally out of cell range. I didn't know what happened, but I got back and I read about it. I felt like it was a major moment in the history of
the Facebook is an extreme left platform. Like, you say anything that's a little bit right wing, and you're like right away chastised and given a timeout and whatever.
American media. I don't think anybody defended you when that happened. Anybody with any kind of audience.
For me, when Tim Cook admitted that he met on the weekend in August of 2017 with the other big tech heads, and they made the decision to curate, like it's a museum, and take me off.
Yeah. Trollman, yeah, you were deplatformed there too off of Facebook. Yeah, those guys are really anal over there on Facebook. I hate to say stuff like that because I'm actually, live on Facebook right now.
It was hundreds of platforms. I mean, it wasn't just all the big ones. It was everything from LinkedIn to our bank accounts being taken away to everything ensuing that week and over the next month.
And you know what the problem is and why that happened is because all of those things that don't like you are all left-wing agencies, left-wing platforms that are all conspiring to deplatform you and to unmonetize you and just make life difficult for you.
And I knew that I was a test case, and I wasn't taken off those platforms for any demonstrable reason. It was the questioning the school shooting thing that came later. They went and kind of dredged that up from my past, just questioning it a few times, blew that up after I'd been deplatformed and said I was deplatformed for that. But if you check the record, I wasn't. And so once they deplatformed me, it made the show in ways only get bigger with people actually going to Infowars.com.
Yeah, what that does, when you get deplatformed, you get pissed off. And you, like me, you push back even more than before that happened, right? Why do you think I'm here? I'm here because I got deplatformed over on Facebook. That's why I'm on YouTube, and that's why I'm successful over here on YouTube, is because I'm actually trying to get a voice out here, even more so than I was before, because of the fact that I got deplatformed.
And finding me on local radio stations and things. So then they panicked and said, okay, let's look at his record and create more of a reason that he's being taken off. So they took things out of context from 5-6 years before, blew them up as a current thing out of context, and deceptively reported on what I'd said to create a straw man argument to then facilitate the reason.
What's so crazy is if you asked just a cross-section of Americans who's responsible for the Sandy Hook massacre of kids at the school, no one remembers the name of the murderer.
Adam Lanza.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is the bit about the school here. I think this is why the lawsuit happened. Was it not about the school? So this may be what he's talking about here right now, Jim. Jim says this guy, Alex Jones, said some crazy stuff. Platform might have been sucked into the lawsuit. It was a $1 billion lawsuit that he lost.
I didn't remember. Alex Jones. They effectively blamed you for a school shooting that you were not present at.
I have people come up to me in the parking lot. You can ask my security guy. He's been there when people walk up and go, "Why'd you kill those kids?" And then you go, "I didn't kill those kids." And they go, "Yeah, you did." And so that is what this has turned into. And this is bigger than me. I want people to understand something.
What? How could that be? How crazy are people? Like, he wasn't there. He didn't have a gun. He just talked about it. That's it. How can they say that he's responsible for it? I don't get that.
That the mullahs in Iran and the Ayatollah are congratulating Hamas that just killed around 1,000 or more innocent Israelis, many of them women, children, disabled people, in a vicious, evil sneak attack. They are on there. Hezbollah and Hamas, mainly Hamas, but it's Hezbollah funding it out of Iran, are literally posting videos of them cutting people's heads off and killing children and massacring innocent people. They're allowed to.
I don't know if that, there is some of that where there's some fake photos and stuff like that, but yeah, stuff like that. I'm not going to dispute what he just said, but we got to be careful here about saying stuff. Obviously, he got away with saying that on Twitter, but I'm on YouTube here. I don't know if that's true or not.
Have their Hezbollah accounts and their Hamas accounts. The Ayatollah is able to congratulate what these people done, and I am still banned. And I'm not mad at Elon Musk. I understand I've been so demonized with the general public. He's barely able to, keep Twitter going right now. I really appreciate what he's done. I admire him. I think he's done a lot of great work, and I see him moving in the right direction. So a lot of people attack Musk on Twitter. I trend all the time. Hey, if you're such an absolutist on free speech, bring back Alex Jones. I understand that if he did that.
Yeah, he did a poll. Musk did a poll, and Alex Jones won in the poll. And the poll was, should Alex Jones be brought back onto X? So I believe that Musk is going to bring him back.
At the ADL and others would really be able to probably shut down Twitter. So I understand that he needs to go through a process before he does that. So people get mad at Twitter for not.
Why the ADL? I'm not the world's expert on your career, but I know you. I've never heard you say a single anti-Semitic thing and an anti-Israel thing. Why would the ADL be against you? I don't think anyone's even called you an anti-Semite.
Well,
unless I'm missing something.
What goes on
American
is
Defamation
the left
League?
forever called everybody a racist if you were just a conservative or pro-Second Amendment or pro-life or thought we ought to have a border. And that didn't work anymore to call people racist.
He's back on, Jeff.
And so the ADL gets all this big liberal donations. And so
okay, he's back.
They go out and then police and take people's sponsors and target them just by the ADL calling up sponsors. Sponsors get scared and drop. And so that's what they've done to Elon Musk. They've been, they took over 50% of Twitter's North American and European advertising in just the last year and bragged about it.
Butterflies are free. I'm not informed on this subject. I'm not. I didn't go into this and watch. Put it this way: I've never watched this interview. I saw the poll on Twitter, so I knew that there was a poll to have him coming back. Am I absolutely, right to this moment in time in tune with what exactly is happening? Well, of course not, because it's a changing field. I just. In fact, the only reason that I brought this up is because you, the chat, wanted to talk about. Actually, it was Jeff and his dogs, right? You actually in the chat said, "Hey, let's talk about Alex Jones." So I said, "Okay, let's talk about Alex Jones." I don't know anything about this story at all, and I don't propose to know anything about it. That's why we're investigating it here, and I'm actually learning about this at the same time as you are. So, yeah, that's what's going on here. Sorry that if I don't seem prepared, I'm not prepared. I don't prepare for anything because I don't really do this kind of a show with any kind of preparedness, because I'm just me, myself, and I. You know what I mean?
By saying he gives harbor to white supremacists, which he doesn't. But at the same time, white supremacists are ridiculous. They're goofy. Most of them are usually working for foundations and are basically, actors. We're not supposed to say that. But
yeah. And you know what? I'm totally against white supremacists and far right anything, far left anything. I'm totally against that. Just so you guys don't start calling me something.
Many cases of that actually being the case, and that they're just LARPing that they're white supremacists. But let those clowns speak. Whatever happened to the ACLU that used to support the KKK marching through a town or publishing their own newspaper? I don't support the KKK. I think they're a joke. But if you take their rights, you take everything.
Yeah. Who is the KKK? Are they far left? Because it was the Democratic Party that I thought was in cahoots with the KKK. So is the KKK far left?
Everybody's. But they're not even taking the rights of those people to post because they create fear and they get the ADL more funding. But if they can target an Alex Jones or an Elon Musk or a Tucker Carlson, then they're going after the real populist leaders that are bringing America together. And so what the left wants is to divide us all according to race, and to come out and say fundamentally with critical race theory that inherently being white is bad.
Yeah. That in itself, what he just said right there, is absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And how you can see white people out there against white people. I can't believe it. Like, I've seen a video of where somebody is a white person and they go, I'm going to kiss the boots of a black person, and I've seen that where they're doing stuff like that. Like, people are getting brainwashed out there into thinking that there's problems out there and that there's rifts and there's divisions and stuff like that. And you guys are making your own divisions. You need to get along with each other and quit being divided all the time.
And teaching 5-year-old white children they're inherently bad because they're white, that is wounding their brains and really creating racial division.
Why do people put up with that? I don't understand.
Yeah, this whole thing, what it is you've got the racists out there are race baiting everyone by talking about stuff like this.
Understand why? I mean, that's just, if you had told me 20 years ago, and I grew up in a world where judging people on the basis of their skin color was totally immoral, and I still believe that. But if you told me 20 years ago that we were going to live in a world where people get on TV and just be like, I hate white people, they're bad. No, it's totally fine.
By the way, I have a black friend of mine. You probably, if you look at my community page, you'll see a picture of him and I there. I think it's there. But I think we're going to be doing a collaboration video, a music video, because he's a music producer type guy, produces his own stuff. So him and I are going to get together and we're going to do some kind of a video. So that should be fun.
Fine. Like, why do people put up with that? Like, there should be zero tolerance for that. I don't get it.
The Democratic Party founded the KKK. And when the majority...
Okay, did you hear what he just said? The Democratic Party founded the KKK. So, if you're left-leaning, then you're probably in that same bed with the KKK, aren't you? Doesn't that make sense? They founded it.
Majority were whites. In the South, in some areas, they played the race card for political power. Now that the majority in most areas are not white, they're playing the good old-fashioned race card of tell whites, stand down, let people take over your society, your culture, give up your culture. It's embarrassing to be white. And then now it's flat out bad to be white. And the left's trying to convert all these minority groups that are now the majority in most areas into race-based systems, because that is a very effective system.
But why do people put up with that? I mean, like, if they were doing that to Malaysians or Filipinos or Hondurans, I would say you can't do that. You're not allowed to attack people on the basis of their race. I'm sorry, not in a country like this, because the country will fall apart and it's immoral.
I totally agree.
But nobody says anything.
Well,
I don't get it.
The reason they've done it is most of the enforcers of this are white liberal women, 45 or older. Not
fair.
It's just a fact. And they're cucked husbands. And so to them...
Can I just say that the phrase cucked husbands is the best?
It really is true. So if you get around these white liberals, they live in the whitest areas. They're totally scared of anybody with brown skin, but they virtue signal constantly.
Virtue signal. So, and really, those are the most despicable white people that virtue signal.
And then say, yes, the white people are bad. You know, the white people are evil. And, you know, these, I mean,
you know, anybody that says stuff like that, you know,
I've even seen white people sit up there and say, yeah, it's time to deal with these crackers. And they're a white person saying that. So
From Jackson Hole or Nantucket or
like, why is that? Why would white people put down their own, if you want to call it ethnicity, even though, you know, you can, it's the only thing that's not an ethnicity, your color of your skin. It's crazy.
Aspen or Bethesda, the whitest places in America. So shouldn't there be a law? It's super simple. If you've got a BLM sign in your yard, you should be required to live in Gary, Indiana or Baltimore. Like, you should not be anywhere near Jackson, Wyoming.
you should be made to live in East St. Louis.
I totally agree.
You should be made to live in Detroit.
Yes.
But of course, they've done the studies, they've looked at the statistics.
Well, I wouldn't agree with talking like that. To me, that's, you know, they're going to go, oh, look at those guys, racist or whatever, trying to tell people they should be made to live somewhere in particular.
Not just here, it's in Europe and it's in the UK, like in London. The liberal areas are like 99% white.
Oh, I noticed.
You know what? And the whole talk about white is, D, if you were a white person and you were to go to 23andMe and get a chromosome or whatever, you know, to find out where your background actually is, you'd probably find that every white person has a little bit of different origins in him, you know. And is it not true? I remember seeing a show once where they actually indicated that every single person on this earth actually originated from Africa. So, you know, we all have to have a little bit of black in us.
Okay, and there's a lot of rich people in London that aren't white, but they're not even in that area. They are the most insular group, and then they point at white Christian culture and society that actually outlawed slavery in most of the world, was the vanguard of stopping it, and then they don't point at China, which is the most homogeneous racist group in the world.
It's an ethno-state. It's Han Chinese, period.
Well, they teach, as you know, on their news.
Yeah, yeah. Why don't we hear the LG community complaining about China or complaining about Iran or any Muslim country where, you know, they might be thrown off of a building or something like that? You know, we don't hear anything about that at all, but yet they're worried about, you know, putting books in schools and stuff like that. That's more important than people being thrown off of buildings. I don't get it.
That we are going to have Chinese superiority. We are the Chinese supremacist. Xi Jinping admires Hitler. He is literally following a race-based operation that is taking the world over, that owns the majority of Hollywood, that's paid off the Democratic Party. And if you look at all these anti-white shows that you see funded in Hollywood, almost all of it has
Yeah. Have you noticed that these movies, especially Disney, you know, like did they not put or change Cinderella from being white to being black? You know, like I think that's what he's talking about, where Hollywood is, you know, they're not just going with the flow, but they're purposely doing race baiting stuff.
Majority literal communist Chinese government backing that is funding this. So it's real simple. China looks in and sees this diverse culture, and they say, we're going to use that to split the country up and balkanize.
Yeah. Okay. And you know, who was it? Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Yeah, well, they changed it now. It's not dwarfs anymore. It's Snow White and the Seven... What the hell is it now? It's something else. But they got rid of the word dwarfs now, believe it or not.
And that's what they've done. And so
apparently a dwarf is not a thing anymore.
China, along with the Southern Poverty Law Center and the ADL and all these groups, see
Hammer,
America's weakness.
love Alex Jones.
And they're literally coming in saying
Turn
white
this crap
people
off.
are inherently bad because of the color of their skin. They're inherently have cheated people.
There, right in the chat. Can't please everyone.
They've hurt people. White people invented racism.
I know. I'm going to go and get my tinfoil hat while I'm watching this, I think.
None of that's true. It's really just tribalism. And then they organize all these other groups into race-based groups to then unify them under the Democratic Party to attack who is left that tends to be more conservative and that is some white people in this country. Though they're panicking.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Jeff, I see your thing there. You're still banned in free speech, troll chat. Troll chat is not free speech. They have a big sign there that says free speech. That is not free speech. Those guys bash you all the time, and they bash Escobar there too over in that chat. You guys are bad guys. Escobar and you both get bashed in Troll Central. So Escobar, you should be negative to Troll Central there and not going over there and participating in their garbage, especially when they bash you behind your back when you're live doing your thing. They're over there bashing you, Escobar. You don't realize that, but you're actually not looked favorably over there. Just saying.
Panicking because more and more blacks are voting Republican, more and more Hispanics are voting Republican. They're starting to figure this out. So now they're in panic mode to bring in totally disenfranchised.
And you've got the Muslim people are also going Republican too, because they don't like this critical race theory and the LG stuff that's being taught in the schools. They're totally against that. So they're losing the Democrats are losing the Muslim vote in the States and in Canada.
Third world populations who are refugees from the multi-year lockdowns in Africa, Latin America, and Asia and the Middle East.
And those refugees, by the way, those Muslims, were all brought in by left-wing governments, both in Canada and the U.S. So now they're going against the governments that brought them in because of the fact that they don't align with their thinking on the LG stuff.
And then bring them to UN camps, brainwash them, then bring them to our border, brainwash them more, then send them into the United States, and then literally hold them for years at facilities while they're indoctrinated to be this new political underclass that's then going to be turned loose on America. And that's why you see Democrats giving illegal aliens the right to vote in their cities, giving them driver's license. That's why you see them passing laws.
Yeah. You know why? Because they want the vote. They're doing all those things to buy their vote. Come on in. That's called buying the vote. Give them free stuff. That's called buying a vote.
They can be police officers. So they are importing a new enforcement class against the American people. And they're setting it up along racial lines, not us. They're making it racial, just like Hitler made what he did racial. So it's the
I don't like anybody talking about Hitler.
Left and the think tanks and the communist Chinese that look at the U.S. and have seen our weakness as race, and they are exacerbating it.
So I don't understand. So you're
I like that, Ang. Escobar gives me perv vibes. I wonder why. You're
from Texas.
He still doesn't know.
Your family's been there a long time. Texas is changing really fast. It's dirty, for one thing.
Hang on. I got to stop here. I got to go take a little bit of a break here. Okay. I'll just put on a little bit of music here, and I take a break, and I'll be right back. I just don't want to play this continuously. Got to give it a break up there once in a while, but I'll be back in half a second. We came back. Okay, let's get on with the show. Okay, more.
Because physically dirty, garbage on the side of the road. I never have seen that in Texas before. So your governor could have stopped that. He commands the Texas National Guard, and he didn't. And I feel like that makes him a traitor to the country, but what am I missing?
Well, I mean, Governor Abbott is, on a scale of 1 to 10, the best kind of Republican governor is a 10, and the worst is, say, a 1. And like the Illinois so-called Republican, that's really a Democrat. I would put Greg Abbott as about a 5. The state is overwhelmed. There isn't really a state mechanism. It's federal to kick people back and deport them. So they have put up barbed wire. They have tried to stop people. They have tried, but then they have to hand them over to the feds who release them.
Well, why not just say the feds are committing a crime? They're committing a crime. This is not allowed under laws passed by the Congress. In a democracy, the Congress passed laws. And so you've got criminals running the country. The Biden administration is criminal, which is true. And we're not playing along.
Yeah.
And like, if you don't like it, come do something about it. Meanwhile, every able-bodied man with a black rifle assemble at the border, and we're just going to stop this and save the country. I don't understand. Like, that's not hard. What am I missing?
No, I think you're absolutely right. In fact, what the deep state fears would be a coalition of good governors, good attorney generals, giving them the findings and the rulings that they could indeed do that, and then declaring emergencies in the states and having a coalition of the states come in and do this, and then instruct local police and everybody else to not have sanctuary cities. But the problem is, if you're in Texas, every single city, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, are Democrat Party run. And so Texas is almost purple because the California influx and all the other refugees from New York, many of them bring their leftist ideology with them, even though they're fleeing it. Like locusts, they fly to the next field. And so that's really the issue, is that the legislature is somewhat cucked, to use that word again. And I think the governor has been cucked. He certainly went along with lockdowns and masks more than really any other Republican governor. And so I do think Greg Abbott needs to do a better job. But I also wanted to list some of the things that the state is up against. But I'll say this. Austin fired a bunch of police and another third quit. Crime everywhere, homeless everywhere, trash everywhere, ruin the city like everywhere else they are.
You live there?
Absolutely. That's where my family's from. I've been there since high school. But I'm gonna have to leave soon because it's gotten more and more like Los Angeles every day. It's very sad to see it. People fleeing LA, like my friend Joe Rogan, it seems great to him because he went from a really, really bad situation into a bad situation. But if you've been there, you can see the decline.
Yeah, I know. I think everyone has seen the decline, especially after the COVID stuff going on there. It's happened around the whole world. Every city has been in a state of decline, I think, with more homeless and stuff like that. So you can imagine that the larger the city, the bigger the problem. And that's what's happening in LA.
See how fast it is. And it's really, 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 really sad. And there are just illegal aliens everywhere and refugees from the rest of the country all over the place. And you see really the economic decline of most of the mom and pop businesses and things. So the same rot we've seen all over the country. Austin was supposedly this big mecca, and it was going to be so great, and now sadly it's falling apart. I mean, Tucker, you know the answer to all this. You do the best job of anybody with a true Americana populist breakdown.
I got a problem here. Okay. Yeah, I'm letting this thing run on here, and I'm not interrupting enough to sort of interject my stuff in here. But I see where I have a bit of a problem here, and I can't figure out what the solution is here. But anyways, we'll keep going.
Elites of the world, the Black Rocks, the State Streets, they're on record saying they don't want our consumer society. They don't want
write
our
that stuff
society.
down.
It's bad. It's ugly.
Black
it's gross,
Rock,
but they're the biggest
State
consumers
Street
compared to anybody else in the world. Their quote carbon footprints are thousands of times bigger than the average person. Leonardo DiCaprio or Klaus Schwab literally have carbon footprints thousands of times bigger than the average poor working American, that they're telling you can't have a car or air conditioning. Remember, before Obama left office, he traveled to Latin America, to Africa, and the Middle East. And what did he tell them in speeches? The clips are famous. You can't have a car or air conditioning. The earth will overheat and burn up. while he's telling people that by the year 2017, like Al Gore said, we would have areas flooded on the coastal areas while he bought a big house in Martha's Vineyard at 1 foot above sea level. And of course, it's still there.
That was the biggest farce there.
Flooded. I mean, his chef died there, drowned sadly, but no flooding inside the house, just the dead chef. So they're waging war against civilization and society to make us poor, to put us under siege, and to cut off our energy, make the cost of living impossible, to break our old system, to bring in something even worse. And that's the Cloward and Piven strategy that the Democratic Party has adopted. They've done the same thing in Europe. This is a plan. The central banks have unlimited money, but they can't buy all the infrastructure up because people aren't selling. So they've got to crush us and make people so poor that everybody's forced to sell their business, their intellectual property, their physical property, but more importantly, to turn over our bodies to them. We're a UN treaty that Biden right now is, that's what I call Biden, is Biden is trying to ratify, would literally put our bodies under the control of the United Nations and our medical care policy of it. So
it's the pandemic
treaty.
Yeah.
So what this is really a breaking of our will, a demoralization. That's what the transgenderism is, and two men can have a baby.
Yeah. I agree with what these guys are talking about here. And we're saying that the globalists are trying to do a bunch of stuff, or get us to do a bunch of stuff. But I do see a problem in my chat here, is that my bot is, somebody programmed Praxis into my bot there to draw Praxis's link there all the time. Don't exactly like that. So got to figure out how to get rid of that, which I might end up just turning that bot right off. The other thing that I might do, because like we're getting kind of a bit of abuse of my bot and my bots here, is that I'm going to start to turn off some of these functions here. Is the way I'm going to end up going with the channel here.
And puberty blockers and castrating little boys and cutting little girls' breasts off. They've got such hellish stuff coming in this designed global collapse to bring in their world government that they've got to just have all these horrors out there, hoping we just throw up our hands and run off to the countryside, which everybody's doing, and in a way that's good. But at the same time, then
people are doing that while they're leaving the cities. Like you can see an outflux of people, like from Los Angeles and places like that, where there's lots of turmoil and stuff.
They've got full control.
That's totally right.
And they're going to march out of the countryside next and dig us out.
So that's, I mean, you look at the White House press secretary, who can barely speak English, who's one of the stupidest people I've ever seen, and a transparent liar. You wouldn't hire her to run your copy machine. She's the White House press secretary. Why would you do that? And it's not because of her race or who she sleeps with. I think the whole point is she's so obviously repulsive that it makes you feel bad about the country to see her.
I mean, that's it. We're at a beautiful ball. It's prom night. Everybody's dressed great. There's wonderful food, big, delicious punch bowl. And then they say, what can we do? Well, just have Brian Stelter go take a dump right in that.
Yeah.
And then he's there laughing at you. They're all there laughing at you to make you feel small, to make you question reality.
Ziggy Piggy,
why is everything so ugly? I mean, that's why they tell
everywhere.
People, hey, you can be homeless anywhere.
Rock.
You can crap on the street, needles, throw your garbage everywhere. Drug dealers can sell you drugs. We're going to give the homeless all this government funding. Liberal groups come in.
That right there. Okay, it's not just the illegals. Okay, you where you say there's illegals everywhere. No, Seagull. You may not see illegals right in front of you, but they're all over the place. There's no doubt about that. They're being let in, but it's more than that. It's all of the rest of the things that is going on with our society.
Farm and milk each homeless person and skim a big cut of the money off
homeless
the top.
People.
It's a crop
everywhere.
But then a cash crop. But then we see that and we think it's all over. There's nothing we can do to demoralize us and make us give up. And even though I'm conscious of this.
No, I don't think D is Queenie.
It's still at a DNA level. I'm like, I got to go to the country. I got to get out of here. I've got to separate myself from this. But then.
But I don't know where Queenie is. I haven't seen her. Well, other than she goes live herself, but I haven't seen her in my chat lately.
They release this toxic, cultural, poisonous gas. They push us out of those areas and they get the main infrastructure
to
then organize that, cut off the food and supplies to that group they have and then tell them the reason you're doing bad is not BlackRock and the WF and Bill Gates. It's all those evil people in the countryside. They're all white supremacists and terrorists and racists. Let's go get them, because the last group they don't control.
You know what? This white supremacist, racist, right wing, far extreme right wing. Like, where are all these people? It's like you hear about this all the time, and people are pointing their finger all the time, and people try and point their finger at good people and say that that's who they are. But where are all these people? I never actually see them. I don't have a face. I can't say, oh, look there's a far right extremist. Like, who is this guy? Like, there's got to be at least one guy that you can point out, and whoever he is, I never see him. I never hear him. So he's not very vocal, that's for sure. Like, you're all worried about, a bunch of right-wing extremists when I don't see them. I don't know where they are. They're in my chat, says Camel Worms. Yeah, exactly. They're all here.
Control is rural people that are self-sufficient. And so I get going to the countryside, protecting your children. That's the holy grail. The problem is you've got to have 1 foot in each.
Kelly, good to see you.
In the
Sorry,
city,
I didn't make it in your channel there today.
You got to give people hope, while also building a backup operation with farming and ranching and self-sufficiency. So that's why the WEF and the UN are coming in Ireland and in areas of Asia and in the Netherlands and saying, by 2030, 80% of your cows have got to be dead. And they just banned like 30% this year.
Yeah. Do you hear that, eh? They're talking about cows. They don't want there to be livestock. And they're also talking about banning fertilizers that are being used, to produce food. So, yeah, the farming industry is being hit hard. That's why all the farmers were protesting over in Europe.
Netherlands. And it didn't matter people were 80% against it in polls. It didn't matter. They sent the military in against the peaceful farmers.
Yeah, that's what the problem is, okay? Like, for example, up here where I live in Alberta, the people did not want a carbon tax. Absolutely, the carbon tax was not wanted by the people. But the few people that, were elected in government pulled a fast one on us and brought out this carbon tax after they were elected. It wasn't even on their campaign, right? They were elected on other things. And then once they got into power, then they said, okay, we're bringing in the carbon tax right now. And we go, well, we don't want it. And they go, too bad, we're ruling. Because we're globalists, and we follow the globalism, and we don't care what you little person say. Big shit, pay more money right now.
It's protesting, just like the peaceful truckers in Canada got brutally attacked. And so they're all WEF global.
Did you hear what he just said? Just like the peaceful truckers in Canada got verbally attacked. More than verbally attacked. They got actually physically attacked. They got stomped on by the horses. They brought the horses out there to stomp on them. Even Alex Jones knows about our little convoy to Ottawa.
Fullest alumni that the big banks on record brag they've penetrated the cabinets, to quote Klaus Schwab. They've put their operatives in.
It was such a little convoy. It didn't do anything. Nobody remembers it. Nobody talks about it. And it was a nothing. Right? But look there's Alex Jones right there. Everyone's watching this, talking about the convoy. The convoy did make a difference. People do remember what it was all about. So anybody that's out there going, oh, you're just a bunch of losers, you know what?
And to cut off our energy, demoralize us, release the hardened criminals, put the political activists in prison, continue to cut off the resources, to make an angrier world. Klaus Schwab says, we're going to make the world collapse. We're going to have everybody turn against each other. We're going to blame the political classes that we own and control. And then when we're done, we'll bring in our new solution. But first, they have to demolish the cultures and societies that we had before with the fentanyl.
You know what? And you guys that are rallying around red, you know what? You should shun red. Get rid of him out of your life and let him go away, okay? Red shouldn't even be on here, and you guys shouldn't even be listening to Red. How foolish can you be?
No, with the open borders, with the demoralization, and then they bring in their next phase, which is a high-tech, cashless society, robot, drone-controlled nightmare. More than half of the U.S.
What's this? This guy is so full of information. Robot, drone-controlled. That's the next thing we're going to have to be worried about. Drones, robot drones and stuff. Oh my God.
Their official UN maps that they've had for more than 25 years, they're in some of my first films, show half the U.S. off limits to humans.
Andrew, you're not banned, are you, in Gaptooth Girl? Nobody's banned in Gaptooth Girl. She's a supporter of Reds, though. But I like Gaptooth Girl. I'm okay in her room, and her and I get along okay.
All cars will have to have GPS. Everybody by law will have to have a cell phone at all times. Australia just did this last year, tried to push it through. And that's the admitted global UN standardized plan. Where you don't
wow. That's some new stuff that I haven't even heard. Where, they want everyone to have a cell phone? Whoa. Yeah. You know what I'm finding is that we don't know anything about this globalist stuff, but it ends up coming into our lives just sort of because you've got these lefty politicians that are in touch with the globalism, and they're like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that in our city. And that's what they're doing all over the place.
Leave your house without a cell phone. Every car is robot kill switch, GPS controlled. California's moving to ban all the quote classic cars. That's any car that doesn't have a digital ignition, and they admit it's for control. So if people think things are bad now, the straitjacket, the ball and chain.
Wow. Does that mean I'll have to crush my 91 Mustang because it is not controllable by the government?
Is going on. It's all being militarily run. Our military is great men and women, but at the top, our military has been globalist, trained, New World Order people for at least 30, 40 years. They've got almost every general, every person under their control, and that's why it came out in the UK and Europe and also here in Canada. You pull up the headlines. Defense Department purposely scared public into lockdowns, masking, and taking inoculations. UK headline, British Ministry of Defense secretly brainwashed and terrorized public. Canada.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. What he's saying right there, absolutely true. Absolutely true. Next thing he's going to say is about Canada. Listen.
The same headline. They even let you know, oh, the military is here to do this. And now, oh, the CIA and Justice Department is there to help surveil the public.
And you know what? Most of you were hoodwinked. Most of you did exactly what they wanted you to do. You followed suit. You were a good little doobie, okay? But not me.
To stop disinformation. And it turned out, of course, almost all that disinformation was true.
Always.
About everything. So we have to understand, our governments have been seized. The big corporations want to get rid of the American idea. You got 50.
Quit bashing over in Gaptooth Girl's channel, and then she'll unban you. Unban Andrew there. Do him a favor there so he doesn't cry there.
50 acres and your house and a business and a farm, and you can take care of your family, and you're independent. They have to destroy all that because the rest of the world aspires to that. Instead, they want 15-minute cities, central bank digital currencies.
Yeah.
They want all of these systems that track and trace everything you do in the social.
Track and trace, like vehicle tracking, be able to shut your car down, that kind of stuff.
Credit scores.
Credit scores. They already have that in China. If you screw up in China, then they make it so that your credit card won't work to take a train to go somewhere. Crap like that. Like this credit score business is really big in China. And like if you're bad and you're a bad debtor, then they take privileges away from you, credit-wise, money-wise. Sign is Zorro.
For the rest of the public.
And everybody else out there, hey, sorry for not acknowledging everyone in the chat there. Can of Worms is in there. Sign of Zorro. Oops. I went and screwed that up there. Let's see who else is in there. Ms. Frosty is in there. We had Brett in there. Praxis is in there. Hey, Praxis, how the hell did you get your URL in that thing there? My Nightbot is dropping your link there, Praxis. Don't program any URLs into my Nightbot, okay? Like, I don't want that. To me, that's like abusing Nightbot to do that. So, anyways, just saying. And Gra is in there. Hey, God Rides a Harley. Good to see you, Tommy. I'm begging you, please look up mass formation psychosis. Then you'll realize this is all a distraction. Could be.
I mean, we're talking 99% is 250 square foot coffin apartments, 5G bathing you in them, literally eating
Hang on. Don't go there with the 5G conspiracy. I'm not buying the 5G.
Bug protein. And I told people 10 years ago they're going to push
The bug protein, yeah, I'm going there. We're already eating bugs. There's bugs in our food right now. The red dye is made out of some cochlear, whatever, cockroach or something.
bugs on the public, because I read it in their white papers. Now it's already in grocery stores all over the U.S., all over Europe. They're putting the cricket meal into the food, very toxic.
Undisclosed, yeah.
It's got chitin in it.
Yeah, I heard that there, Summer, about your pictures and stuff there, and Brett and stuff like that. I listened to all you guys there with your stuff, and it is what it is.
Yeah, they'll just give it a number. It's got like a code, and you ask again, why would you do that? Because it's all about breaking.
You know what I would say? Don't take pictures of your things, your private things, and send them anywhere or give them to anywhere. Don't do that. You know what I mean? You can't trust anyone. Like, for example, there is not one picture of me on anywhere, because I have never taken a picture of me, of any private parts or stuff like that. So if somebody's posting pictures of me on some FetLife or something like that, yeah, well, it's all fake. All fake.
Our will. They don't want people to aspire to open, free societies. Yeah, there's a lot of waste, there's decadence, there's issues, but there's freedom. They want to train us to live on carbon rationing, food rationing, a very dystopic world.
Oh, and by the way, Brett, you'll find this interesting. Brett, I actually had somebody over at another channel give you the big ups and said, wow, Brett is the best guy on your channel there. It's just so controversial there. Unbelievable. So, yeah, you're actually getting some big ups there out on other channels there.
You'll own nothing, you'll have nothing, and you'll be happy. Now, these are quotes.
I have to say, I bet there are, I don't know how long into this we are, 30 minutes or something. I bet there are a lot of people watching who are thinking, holy smokes, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Alex Jones. I'm supposed to hate this guy. Like, where's the...
you know what? The only thing that I haven't agreed with him, well, not the only thing, maybe a couple of things, the 5G. I'm not a 5G basher, which I just heard him bash 5G. 5G is 5G, whatever. It's 4G, 3G, no different. Same frequencies, same power, same everything. No more detrimental to your brain than anything else cell phone-wise.
A lie in what you just said. I'm not sucking up. I'm sincere. Like, I'm listening to this, and even myself, I'm thinking, I can't believe I'm nodding along to Alex Jones and being like, you're absolutely right. Like, where are you wrong?
Well, I just hope people realize that we're all under the gun. Somebody that's left
put up fake receipts about how I eat cats. Yeah, gap tooth girl. Well, watch it. You're gonna have Ant on your bad side. By the way, Defender of Ant has me blocked. So for that reason, I'm not going to talk about Defender of Ants. I'm not going to promote him. I'm not going to talk about whatever he's up to until he unblocks me. So Defender of Ants, you better unblock Tommy Temper, because that's foolish for you to block me. No reason to block me whatsoever. I hardly even say hi in your chat. So for you to block me, it was like you're blocking me. Hey, and you're a right winger too, right? Ant is a right winger. He's like a patriot guy, but he blocks patriots or patriot type people. Go figure. I did not see the Steam locomotive, but I see in the chat there, Michelle Bailey is in there, and lots of other people. Good to see everyone.
Just believe that because they go along with this, they're going to be given powerful positions in this system. This is a technocracy. There's almost no managers in this. Almost nobody has power in this system except a very small group of technocrats who happen to be transhumanist.
She's covering for
said
Claude.
Really astute a few weeks ago in a speech you gave, and you've also talked about on your show that all of this stems from their fear and denial of death.
So one of the things I find so striking about you, having watched you on and off over the years, and this must be a burden for you personally, but your ability to see people at a deeper level, or to see things in them that are not obvious to the rest of us. And I want to give a specific example. So there's a...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Make sure you sub up, like Michelle Bailey there. Check her out there. Does some live streaming out there on location. So absolutely sub up to Michelle.
A guy called Brian Stelter, who had the media show on CNN. I first met Brian Stelter when he was a high school student or a first-year college student, because he would hang around the show I worked on at the time at CNN. This was 20 years ago at least.
Hey, and by the way, Gaptooth Girl, I want to make a pact with you, okay, to get along with you. I want to get along with you and not bash you. Don't bash me. I won't bash you. Let's just have a pact where we get along, okay? I know that you support Red. I know that, you're kind of on the outside of Red's whole deal there. Red is sort of on his way out, whatever. But I'm just saying, I don't want to bash you. Don't bash me. Let's try and get along. Let's see, a couple of other people like that too. If Jeff ever shows up again, yeah, I don't bash him. He doesn't bash me. Tommy likes your dancing. Let's see, who else? We need to have a pact to kind of get along a little bit. I forget who else there was there. Not Red, though.
And I always thought he was awkward and weird and probably had a super creepy personal life, but I never took him seriously. There's a pretty famous clip, and I want to play it right now.
Oh, I know who. Summer. And, Brett's not going to like this, but the same thing with Summer. I get along with Summer. Summer gets along with me. If I platform somebody that doesn't like you, Summer, well, don't hold me, to whatever somebody else is saying. But I would like to just plain be on good terms with Summer, and I hope she would be on good terms with me and try and, live on the internet like that.
You critiquing Brian Stelter, and you take him way more seriously than I ever did, and I think you're right to. So this is a pretty famous clip of you on Brian Stelter.
Hell on earth. He wants to run your life. He wants to control every aspect of your life because he knows he is a cowardly, degenerate sack of anti-human trash. I pledge before my Heavenly Father that I will resist them every way I can. These people are the literal demon spawn of the pit of hell. Look at him. And you know what? He is better than you if you keep letting him run your life. He runs your kids. He runs the schools. He runs the banks. This guy, this spirit, this smiling, leering devil that thinks you can't see what he is your enemy.
I think I should turn into more of an Alex Jones here. I could do it. I could actually do the Alex Jones bit, believe me, I can get pretty mad. And you guys have never, ever seen me get mad on the air here. Ever. Like you guys think that you trigger me or stuff like that. I've never been triggered here to the point that I start yelling and stuff. But, yeah, he's got a good gig because he does what he does.
Period. All the narcissistic, devil-worshipping filth. I see you, enemy. I see you, enemy. 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 You are my enemy.
Kind of reminds me a bit of Brett. Brett, have you been watching Alex Jones? Just saying.
And I swear total resistance to you with everything I've got.
Kind of reminds me a bit of Hitler's speech, too.
Disingenuous, fake, false, broke back, twisted.
Broke back. Bro, where does broke back come in?
A defiler, a betrayer, a backstabber, a devil. You don't think I don't see you, Stelter? I see you. You understand me? I do.
Brett, you're kind of turning into a bit of an Alex Jones there lately, especially with the guttural bits. Oh, my.
What you think of me and my family, I see you right back. You understand that? You understand that, Stelter?
I've only watched that several hundred times. And I laugh every time, but I also, something to, if Brian Stelter had absolute power, would you and your family survive? Of course not. You wouldn't. You'd be, of course not, and neither would mine. So there's a lot that's true about what you said. How did you perceive that? The rest of us just made fun of him.
Now, once they started the censorship and deplatforming, remember back then they would deny it. Oh yeah, we're taking people off air, but it's not censorship. Now they admit, no, it's censorship. We're doing this for your own good. So he was really the face of that, and he was working for the head of CNN.
Yeah, he does have kind of a weird laugh. I know what you mean.
And that was really in charge of it. It later came out. CNN currently is not in charge. They've handed it completely over to the Justice Department to quarterback, as Congress reported a few months ago with the documents. But at the time, Brian Stelter and his mini-me Oliver Darcy,
His Popeye to
were going around calling up and harassing my sponsors, taking sponsors away. And they were going around and organizing big tech to take not just myself, but many other people offline.
Oh, yeah. That's the problem, you know. You start talking about right-wing stuff, and then you try and, attack the sponsors, right? Because you go, oh, look at this. These sponsors don't want to go with him. You're a left-wing product, whatever, like Coca-Cola or something like that. And right away, you don't want to sponsor this guy.
And so he was destroying our free speech. He was taking our sponsors.
But it's crazy. I just want to restate. You are not promoting race hatred. You're against race hatred. You never have promoted that, ever. You're not promoting violence. You've never called for violence. And you've never even called for breaking the law.
And so that's why there's so much anger there, because I remember the day I did that.
You know what it is, though? It's just that they think that you're manipulating people, right? They want to squelch you because they don't like what you're saying. If you say something like, well, I don't like this about critical race theory, well, then the lefties don't like you, right? So they want to cancel culture you. And really, he says so much stuff that the cancel culture crew don't like that, he's like always in their crosshairs.
Viral.
And he got cancel culture too.
I showed all the stuff he was doing, but then
Twitter.
The media attacked me and just clicked it out of context. But still, it reverberated with people because people were sick of the corporate legacy media. So people say, well, why is he so angry? Well, it's because he's literally trying to take us off air, literally taking our sponsors. The equivalent of the Vikings 1,000 years ago in England pulling up and burning a village down. And so there he is, all sweet and liberal. And
you know what? It's the same problem that I have, because when we're talking about politics and serving up stuff like this, YouTube has a really hard time figuring out what kind of a ad to play on my channel. You know what I mean? So they go like, oh, yeah, well, no, we're not monetizing this video because you're talking about stuff that we don't like.
Cackling and laughing, but he's really an agent of anti-American totalitarianism. And so he was the front man of that. And I wanted to just simply say,
well, you're right.
I see you. I know what you're doing. So people see it out of context and think, why are you being so mean to him? Well, I mean, he's literally trying to destroy my free speech.
That's a pretty low blow, nuts and crackers.
Take me off air and put my family on the street. So I'm pissed off at him.
What's interesting is, and I mean, I don't know if you want me to reveal this, but we had dinner in our barn last.
Hey, by the way, everyone in the chat, thank you very much for being really civil and not getting too much out of control to where I actually have to time anyone out or bash you. You guys understand that, and I like that.
Night, and there were some drinks. And after dinner, you and my producer called Stelter on the phone. And what was and it was on speaker, so I listened to it. What was so interesting was, you've been very clear in a very direct, pretty masculine way, I would say, about how you feel about Brian Stelter. There's not a lot of confusion about your views on Stelter after clips like that, which doubtless he's seen because he Googles himself compulsively. He was very kind of syrupy sweet with you.
And that's why I was sarcastic and told him I want to date him.
Don't worry, because Ant has called me a pedo protector platformer, is what he called me. That's what Ant called me, a pedo protector platformer. Like, how berserk is that? That is the stupidest thing ever.
You did, yeah. In fact, the exact line that you had was, Brian, I'm not usually gay, but I want you. Yeah. And he seemed a little bit, I'm not saying he's open to it or whatever, but he wasn't shocked by it.
And he's like, give me your phone number. I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And then he hit your producer up, please give me his number right now. Let's
that was interesting.
But I was being silly with him. But there was also a line. He goes, oh, Alex Jones. I said, I want you to come on my show. And he said, oh, you still got a show? And I went, no, you're the one that doesn't have a show.
We're all pretty
sorry,
virtuous.
I shouldn't
tell him the other line.
It's so
not many people are banned in my chat. Very, very few people are banned. But, from this point forward, if you're going to dox me, if you actually dox me, like I don't mean if you're in a doxing channel, because let's face it, Troll is a doxing channel. But if you're actually doxing me, well, then you'll probably be banned over here.
Boorish to recount conversations people weren't witnessing.
It was funny though.
But you said, you're off TV now, but you were a real star. I mean, not on CNN, but on my show. It was so good. Anyway, but what was interesting was if someone had talked about you that way.
Hey, don't worry about sending an email. Wizzy sent me an email 6 months ago that he actually came on my channel and said, hey, well, how come you don't read your emails? Which, you know, I'm like that too. I miss emails all the time. I probably get over 100 emails a day. Okay, so it's really easy to miss one email. And sometimes I don't read, like today, for example, I haven't even read any emails. So there you go. But yeah, emails are tough. Sometimes I can get a message better if somebody is a friend of mine on Facebook, Tommy Temper on Facebook, and then you can just message me over there. That's easier. And then tell me over here that you messaged me.
You'd say, you know, up yours, pal. You know what I mean?
Put it this way. I kind of hide. I don't really hide, but I sort of don't really like messaging, don't like email, don't like being bugged. You know, just like to do my own thing.
Like buzz off, or I'm not taking your call. But he kind of sucked up to you. That's a very weird, passive-aggressive posture.
Well, I've said a lot of really mean things about him and attacked him. And when I watch the clips out of context, I feel guilty. But he was going around with Oliver Darcy. They would brag on Twitter and literally hitting hundreds of my sponsors. And I say hundreds, I'd have like 20. They'd take them all. I get 20 more, take them all. This went on for years. So you go get a sponsor, you get them, they're doing great. He takes it away from you. And then he brags that him and Dart.
You know what? On that whole Red thing there, Red needs to come clean. Until Red comes clean, I'm going to go with the rhetoric. You know, I'm going to go with the rhetoric because Red has not come clean and said, I did not do that. Have you ever heard Red come clean on that whole issue? I've never, ever heard him say, I did not do that. I did not, you know, or come clean and said, yes, I actually did it. I'll face the music. You know what I mean? Put it this way. He doesn't want to admit that he did it because the cops might get hold of that information and then he might go to jail or be convicted of something, right? So, yeah, I believe that Red at this moment in time is maybe a little bit scared. But, you know, I think that Red told a couple of people that he did something. So, are you going to not believe those people that he talked to? 2 people already talked about it. That's all I know.
I was taken off Twitter, not for the Sandy Hook stuff that came later that they focused on. Look at...
let's see, I think The Madness. If you go over to The Madness and watch their last show, they pretty much go over the whole thing of what happened and what he did or what he's accused of doing.
It up. They had the former head of Twitter and the lawyer on Joe Rogan about 4 years ago. And Joe said, why did you ban Alex Jones? The lawyer goes, okay, let me open my clipboard. She goes, here's why. He was
don't worry, Michelle.
Oliver Darcy.
You can drop links.
Capitol.
Just don't
having censorship hearings.
Drop them too many times.
There. I just confronted him in the hall.
Who runs Google.
And you guys are welcome to use that if you want.
No big deal.
And
I don't care.
That was at the Senate. So now they were going over to a House meeting, and there's Oliver Darcy in the line. In
fact, that's what my channel's all about, is you drop links to your channels, and we promote channels. And, you know, I like small channels. I was a small channel once, and there are other channels out there that help me to grow too, right? I took advantage of people that help you get subscribers and stuff like that. So that's why I like helping small channels to grow as well. So yeah, absolutely drop links and stuff like that in there. And yeah, if people drop links, don't give them heck for it. Hey, it's Hot Damn Elaine's Crafting in there. Good old Hot Damn. Good to see you.
Gets to get in. I don't even get into a hearing where they then attacked me. They'd attacked me at the last hearing, but I don't get to face my accuser. And so I get in his face. I don't threaten him, but I say, you are an evil man. You're un-American, coming after my free speech, harassing my sponsors, trying to get me off the internet. And the last place I was on was Twitter. They'd held out. And so Jack Dorsey had held out. And so Jack Dorsey admitted, well, the last straw was I bullied Oliver Darcy. And so that's why I was deplatformed. Elon Musk thinks it was the Sandy Hook thing. And notice,
do you know that in most cultures, bullying
the Dorsey thing.
Oliver Darcy would be like a rite of passage. Like you couldn't, like that would be a positive good, right?
Well, but here's the thing. He's literally on Twitter taking my sponsors, calling for me to be silenced. So he's been attacking me, attacking my speech and my living. And then all I do is shove a camera in his face while he's waiting to go into the hearing for 5 minutes and say, man, you are un-American. You got some evil eyes. And I said, you really look like a piece of slime. I mean, I told him that. And,
fair.
And so.
Really? And for him saying that on a video and posting it on Twitter, he got deplatformed off of Twitter. That's ridiculous.
So The point is, he's a man. He's a, quote, journalist in the arena. He goes around harassing people and stalking them financially and their free speech. He'd already bragged that he'd gotten me taken off all this other stuff and that he was instrumental, which he was. And then he can't take me saying, man, you're a jerk.
Right.
So
this is the classic posture. Stop hitting me, he says, as he, fires a gun through your windshield.
Exactly. They can dish it out, but they can't take it.
So what's the effect on you? And I don't mean even the lawsuits against you, and there was an effort to criminally indict you, I guess, just for having bad opinions or whatever.
A bunch of them, actually.
A bunch of them, yeah.
They've had 4 grand juries I've had to respond to, subpoenas. My lawyers,
when you've committed no crime, you're like one of the only people in media who's not ginning up race hatred, I would say, just to be totally clear, because it's very common to do that. You don't do that. So anyway, and then, of course, this $1 billion judgment against you for having naughty opinions, which is insane. I'm not even talking about that. I just mean, what's it like to spend 25, 30 years connecting the dots and seeing this slow-moving storm come toward the country that you were born in? What effect does that have on you?
Since you use the analogy of a storm, it'd be like if I was 100 years ago before they had radar, and I've read about the famous flood 120-something years ago in Galveston that killed tens of thousands of people.
Oh, yeah, the hurricane, yeah.
Yeah, the hurricane. They didn't know. They didn't have radar. And so they didn't know, but there are the fishermen out there catching shrimp or whatever, and then all of a sudden here comes basically a tidal wave. And if I was one of those fishermen and I knew my children and my wife were on shore at school or work or whatever, and here comes a 40, 50-foot wave I know is about to kill them, I would not be thinking about myself watching this giant wave come in. I'd go, oh my God, my wife and kids are over there. And so
the sky is falling.
It's not
the
even
sky is falling.
I realized that I was just out in front and ahead of some people in understanding this because of family and research.
Check out Gaptooth Girl
life that I saw.
If you don't know of her channel,
involve the media because I was
Gaptooth Girl. We gotta
going on because my
join forces. Be nice to each other.
Had some other family that worked in clandestine things.
But thanks for coming over and getting some rub off at Tommy Temper.
Around folks that knew what was going on, and
we'll give you the rub.
You don't really pay attention to it, but you kind of get that education. You don't know you're getting it. And so I've just been out front. So I would liken it to the old days when a dam would break and they didn't have radio to warn people, and the dam breaks and it's 20-foot wave coming down the valley.
And you know what?
And you
know what?
Down below the
Gaptooth Girl. People say crap about you. I've been watching what they've been saying about you. Like, oh, you're dancing, trying to get boyfriends and this kind of crap or whatever. I can see you. You're like kind of just a fun-loving girl that likes to do stuff and dance around and, just be kind of freewheeling and that and just have a good time. But you're kind of, you're in the drama thing, though. You love drama. Your show is like Drama Llama. You're always, calling people out and stuff like that. You're kind of like that, doing your own thing over there. Good on you. But in a lot of cases, people are calling you out or saying crap about you, so then you end up calling them out. So, yeah, you have a certain routine. You do what you're doing. You've been doing it for a while, and you're doing well. Hey, good for you, Gaptooth Girl.
The dam, as let's say a lumberjack, and your wife and children are 2 miles down, and you see the dam break, and you're about to drown. But I guarantee the last thought you're thinking is it's going to get my women and children. And that's really my grief. Is this is really draconian. This globalist Great Reset, New World Order takeover is a post-industrial world, cut off the resources, 90% forced depopulation, breaking civilization by design, massive wars, famine. They've already cut off a third of the fertilizer in the last year worldwide. It's estimated that'll kill a couple.
Yeah, the fertilizer is a big thing because that's going to cut down on world food production, and we're going to start to see lack of food in the world.
100 million people. The lockdowns worldwide, not the virus. The UN admits killed 80-something million extra people in the last 3.5 years.
And on top of that, we've been brainwashed into actually being receptive to lockdowns and stuff like that now, right? That's what's happened. So if anything else happens from this point on, we're already conditioned to go along with whatever the government says. I'm not trying to say Tommy knows me. Yeah, exactly. I know the Gaptooth. Gaptooth. Hey, Gaptooth, I knew you when you first started your channel. Well, maybe not first, but you were out there riding your horse and doing stuff like that. You weren't even into politics or stuff like you're into now, or interfacing with other channels and calling people out and whatever, defending yourself, whatever you're doing over there.
And so when the first world collapses, the third world dies. And then what's left of them floods us. And so the earth is being put into account.
Yeah. Did you hear what he said? When the first world, that's us, collapses, then the third world dies. And the third world all floods in to the first world, which is the Western world. And then it's a total chaos.
Down collapse right now. And so I'm like the fisherman when the tidal wave comes in, and I'm like, oh my God, my wife and children are about to die. And so I'm not really worried about me because I'm a man. I did this. I knew it was coming. I've been proven right. And I'm not happy I was proven right. I wish we could have gotten ahead of this and stopped it. Yeah, we have a lot of credibility now that people see that we were right. So maybe we can stop the next.
So I think what this whole thing is about is, number one, the whole thing started off with a talk about Alex having predictions that came true. So in other words, the first thing was like, look at predictions that came true. That means you can trust what this guy says, right? That's what it was all about. So now he's just basically going over all of the things that he doesn't like are happening in the world, which we've heard those things over and over. These talking points are the same thing for the last 10 years. He's been saying this for a long time. We maybe didn't believe this. We thought that this stuff was all conspiracies, that there was some sort of one world government. Come on, you got to be kidding me. There's no such thing. They're not trying to make us into one world. They're not trying to hoodwink us into doing stuff. Nah, that's all a bunch of BS.
Next phase of it. But the globalists have gone from testing phase, beta test phase, into full operational now. And they say, read their writings, we are going to have a post-industrial world by 2030. We will have no personal cars by 2030. You will be eating bugs by 2030. And we will start the depopulation of 90% of the people by 2045. That is the official WF, official UN, official Club of Rome plan.
What do you mean the depopulation?
They want to bring the world population down to 500 million.
But I thought we were opposed to genocide. No or no? I guess we're not.
Well,
I don't think that it really is genocide. That, they're just talking about, okay, for example, sell more condoms, birth control, regulate how many children that you can have in a country. Like we've seen this over in China. When I was over in Iran, I saw a picture on the wall, and it was like a little advertisement saying only have 2 children. So they actually are doing it in some countries over there. But the globalists want that to happen all over the place, right? Limit the number of children that you're having, that sort of thing.
Told now, don't have children, it's bad for the earth. And we're told all this, and Elon Musk is right, and is a hero for pointing out all the actuaries show, if you don't have 2.1 children, a man and a woman, people go, well, a man and a woman can have 2.1. It's in the aggregate, folks, out of billions. If a country doesn't have 2.1,
I've got 2 kids, so I met the requirement.
To replacement rate, then you don't have people to take care of the old folks, society collapses. And so Japan's...
But, so that we don't overpopulate, I won't have 3, I guess.
1.3, Italy's 1.3, they're done as cultures. America, without immigrant
you fell asleep. Okay, Michelle.
1.6, that's not viable. And I'm not just talking about white people.
Oh, really? You started your channel with making fun of Anarchy Princess after reading books. Oh, wow. Interesting.
Only here, but white people are 7% of the world population, maybe 8. And so I would be sad if the last of the Eskimos were dying. I'm sad that the Japanese, within 100 years, there might be 20 million of them.
But just to my previous question about, and without getting too personal, but I feel a little bit enervated in...
Susan Knox. Okay, I'm not putting on a pedestal anybody. I don't usually do that, okay? With the talking points, I'm just saying whether or not I agree with any talking points, okay? I didn't especially follow Alex Jones. I kind of thought that he was kind of maybe a right-wing extremist with some of his views. That was my thought on him. These guys are the talk of the town. This is, you do a search on X right now. These Alex Jones will come up number 1. That's the reason that we're talking about these guys. I'm not defending or doing anything or saying anything. I'm talking about cancel culture because I have been cancel cultured myself, right? I don't know if you know that, Susan, but the left wingers have absolutely tried to cancel culture me, okay, by various publications, things that have been written about me, things that have been said about me. And I'm constantly being cancel cultured. Just go over to the troll channel. Go to the troll channel and watch what they're posting about me. They're absolutely over there trying to cancel culture me. They're trying to post stuff that will piss me off, that will trigger me, and that will just basically terminate me, right? Get rid of me. That's what people are trying to do. So if you don't think that's happening, well, it's happening right here in the channel, right here. I actually just banned somebody in my channel here just a minute ago for being stupid. You know, there you go.
Down just hearing your dot connecting here. Like, what's the effect on you over 25 years?
And the reason that I'm playing this is because somebody in my chat, I asked the chat to tell me what to do here today, and the chat suggested that we watch this, so that's why we're watching this. It wasn't my idea, put it that way.
I mean, if you literally foresee 9/11 before it happens, and you did, and it can be proven, we just proved it.
So the chat, it was Jeff and his dogs wanted this
weird ability.
So blame him.
Well,
not
I
me.
mean, I know a specific clip.
Yeah, right, Hammer.
I specifically say call the White House, tell them we know.
That's right. We can do what we want to do. But there are people, like, if you don't like this, well, that's pretty telling. Watch this. You need to learn something.
We're going to let Al Qaeda attack us, Bin Laden, and then take our rights. And I say call the White House. I put the number out, so I put my money where my mouth was. And that's the only time I ever said call the White House and tell them stop a particular event. I'm now saying we need to call the White House and say, you've let tens of thousands of military-aged men from the Middle East in. We know a lot of them are Hezbollah and Hamas. The FBI has confirmed that. And so when and if there's big terror attacks, which I believe will probably happen in America, we're not going to have Homeland Security get more funds and more power and grope us at the airports more. I want prison time for the agencies and groups that have allowed this. And I want Biden. I want Biden impeached now. Okay? That's why we got rid of McCarthy. It needs to happen. Leaving the border open when there is...
From what I have seen with Biden and Hunter, and from what I have heard, and if it is true, which, why does it take the government, like 10 years before they even open up a case? Yeah, Biden should be impeached. Absolutely. Hey, you know what? This is what's going to happen. Oh. Don't do that. What the heck did I do? What? I did that. Uh-oh. I just broke something. Oh. What the heck is that? I didn't know you could do that. Okay. I'm going to come in here, and we're going to bring this in here, and it's going to be another one of those shows where I say, okay, I've had enough of this stuff. You guys are in the chat there. You guys don't want to watch this. Half of the chat doesn't want to watch it. Half of it wants to watch it. It's like total chaos. So at the end of the day, I think that it's going to be, I'm going to say to you all, it's been fun. Thanks a lot for joining us today. You guys figure out what's going on with yourselves there. Between Summer, Gaptooth, Red, and everyone else out there on the streets of YouTube, we hope you're going to have a good day. I might be back later on today, but for now, I'm going to say, have a good afternoon. See you guys later. And actually, the reason I'm leaving is I got something to do here this afternoon, and I had to leave right at the top of the hour, so wasn't for any other reason. Bye-bye. Hey, yeah, I'm going to drop it here. I'll be back in about a couple of minutes, but if anyone else is live there, you know, let the chat find out who else is live, or someone else go live there and head over there. Okay, that's it. We're out of here. Bye-bye for now. Stream's ending. Might be back a little bit later. See you later. Bye-bye for now. Thanks for joining us.